come, Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win. Now the 2-1. Line drive to the base hit. Justice has scored the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines that sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
A 3-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is. Goodbye. Big World Series.
The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run.
Racket throws. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I can brush them with my faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings, long drive, left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run. The Red Sox win. And the series.
Lolich fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins. Here's the pitch to Willie. There's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right.
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take. I'll tell you what, we're having an earth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter.
Long drive to left field. Way back. This is it back. Home run.
Base hit loaded, 1 out. Pena in a chance. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
Ozzie with 1 out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch, which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people.
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
Who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, and get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. Get in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday here on the Dan Scott Show and everywhere else, I guess, for that matter.
I am Dan Scott. It's a beautiful day here in the upstate, sunshine and blue skies everywhere. It's cold. It was very cold this morning, and we're going to be warming up a little bit. Started to look to the extended forecast, way extended forecast to Friday the 16th, the week from this coming Friday. How many of you have any idea why I would be looking at Friday the 16th? What could we possibly be talking about that's taking place on Friday the 16th? I wonder. Anyway, nice day. Hope that you had a great weekend. We had a monsoon of sorts overnight, Saturday night, and part of yesterday. But, all things considered, very, very good weekend, and hope that yours was a good one as well. I guess a lot of it depends on perspective. If you're wrapping yourself up in only the success or lack thereof of your sports teams, then your weekends can be up and down, your weeks can be up and down, and it can be a very exhausting life on that roller coaster. Fortunately, I think I've gone beyond that portion of my life and my fandom where entire days aren't ruined most of the time. Now, there are still occasions. That a day can be ruined if a team that I'm following doesn't do well. But for the most part, I've gone beyond that in my life, and I try to just appreciate the event. I know last night, after it was all said and done, the folks in Philadelphia were appreciating it, and probably still are, many of them, at this stage of the morning after a very, very entertaining Super Bowl 52 that the Philadelphia Eagles won to get their first Super Bowl championship in franchise history. If you like offensive football, you really enjoyed last night's Super Bowl. More combined yards than any postseason game in NFL history, not just in the Super Bowl era, but in any postseason game in NFL history. And the Eagles come away with the 8-point win, and the party started immediately in the city of Philadelphia. I tweeted after the game last night, our buddy Dave Glenn of ACCsports.com, you recall last Wednesday, told us that circumstances have worked out where he and his 18-year-old son, Anthony, could be there, not in a media capacity, but as a fan. And Dave is a Philly guy. He was born and raised in Philadelphia and has seen all of his other Philadelphia professional sports franchises win championships in his lifetime. The Phillies, the 76ers, and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Eagles had not been so fortunate. So he was on site there last night and got a chance to experience that with his son, which had to be incredibly special. I tweeted last night, that was the good news, that part of it. The bad news is he may never be able to visit Philly again because it may not be standing. Now, it's not quite as bad as Detroit, I would imagine. You remember in the early 90s when Detroit won the back-to-back NBA championships, they basically burned the city down. And, of course, the old joke went, and there's probably some truth to it, that all of the destruction they did actually raised property values in the city of Detroit. I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of reports this morning about Philly going that far. I'm sure there were some issues and some problems and some things that were messed up and broken, but they are celebrating, and the celebration will go on. I tell you, this victory parade that they're going to have in that city, I'm not a big let's watch parades on television guy. Thanksgiving, don't really get into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade like the girls in my house do, or the Christmas Day parades, the Rose Bowl parade. I'm not a parade guy, except when I was marching in them back years and years ago. However, the one that Philadelphia is going to throw for the Eagles may very well be worth watching. That may be the parade to end all parades when it's all said and done. But we're going to have a lot to talk about where that is concerned, including I thought it was pretty cool to go to one of our sources and be able to pull off several of the radio clips from the Philadelphia radio network last night as the Eagles network was calling the game. And we put together a little montage. It's about 3 minutes long that'll basically tell you the story of Super Bowl 52 from the Eagles standpoint. We'll have that coming up for you in just a bit, plus some thoughts on several other things where the Super Bowl was concerned. We also, of course, have Furman basketball to talk about. And the Paladins were set up for a fantastic weekend that would be leading into a crucial 3-game stretch here at home. And everything appeared to be in order after the win over Mercer on Thursday night, the 12-point win on the road. Go down to the Citadel, and with 9 minutes to go in that game, 8:58 as a matter of fact, Tom Van Hoy reminds me, Furman hit a bucket that put them up by 17. And then the wheels fell off. The Bulldogs, as they were apt to do, you remember in the game last year, they were down 28 at one point in the second half and got to within 3 and had the basketball, did not tie the game that time. Well, the Paladins were not so fortunate on Saturday as the 17-point lead was whittled away. They hit a couple of ridiculously tough three-pointers down the stretch. Furman missed some free throws that could have extended the lead in the last 90 seconds. Frankie Johnson, the diminutive point guard for the Bulldogs, hit a shot driving along the baseline and getting into the lane and scoring that tied it and sent it to overtime. And then the Bulldogs went on and outscored Furman, I think, 12-4 in the overtime period to win the game 100-92. So it was a difficult loss to take. Not just the fact that it was to your oldest rival and everything that goes on in that dynamic, but with what played out shortly thereafter with Wofford getting beat again. Furman, had they held on and won the game against the Citadel, would be sitting alone in third place right now, and instead are still in a tie with the Terriers, both with 4 losses. Greensboro did not play, so they're sitting there still with 2 conference losses, and ETSU thumped Chattanooga by 20, and they're still undefeated at the top of the league. So, and then Western Carolina wins, so now they're just a game behind both Furman and Wofford in the league standings. So you're getting a bit of a logjam there between 2nd and 5th at the moment. And even Greensboro in 2nd place finds itself now 2 games ahead of both Furman and Wofford, 2 losses versus 4 losses. The silver lining in that cloud for Bob Ritchie's club is that those 3 home games still give you a chance to pick up some ground, and some significant ground, because they began with Greensboro on Wednesday night here at Timmons Arena, and then Wofford on Saturday, and then Chattanooga the following week. So you've got an opportunity still to make some noise, if you will, this week with the 3 straight home games, and position yourself to move ahead of Wofford and be right on the tail of UNCG for the number 2 seed in the conference standings. So there's still a lot to play for, a lot to accomplish, and look, we still have how many games, remaining now? 6 games remaining in the conference. So by no means is it doom and gloom, but that was a very, very difficult loss. And then given the fact that Wofford lost right after the game was over, you really miss an opportunity to be sitting there alone in 3rd place right now. Got to find a way to flush it and move forward. We'll talk more about the game we'll talk more about the Super Bowl and see what else we can get into as we go through the course of the morning as well. Need to pause long enough right now to remind you about the Atlanta Bread Company, our presenting sponsor here on the show. Jeff Massey and the folks down there do such phenomenal work. They're great people. They're great friends. We are so happy to be associated with them and thank them each and every day for what they do for us. We hope that you'll do the same when you stop in and enjoy the great food, the wonderful service you're going to get. Take a moment to thank them for what they do for us here on the show. Located in Cherrydale Plaza, just down the road from campus, it's the Atlanta Bread Company. More about them in this commercial set, and we'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingles, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingles, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget the gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPO Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
Patriots 4.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is the Monday after Super Bowl 52, and that means that baseball is next on the clock. Thank you very much. College baseball will open on the 16th. See, got the old countdown going on here. And then we have the same week, pitchers and catchers report. That's what we're talking about next week, folks. Pitchers and catchers report, Major League Baseball. Spring training games will begin the first part of March, if not a little sooner. And the season actually opens, I think, on March 31st this year. So baseball is upon us. Brett Harker's team continues to work in getting ready for the opener against Marist. We're putting together the on-air and online broadcast schedule. We will do every single game where there's not a basketball conflict, and even with those, we'll find ways around them if we can. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, and I don't say this as a way to kind of toot our horn or toot my horn specifically, but it's a mindset, and I was so happy. I think I shared this with you not too long ago, that in a conversation Brett Harker and I had, and this was off the air, and then we talked about it a little bit on the air when he was here last week. He said to me, we're just going to keep acting like we're a bigger program than we are, and one day we're going to be that program. That is kind of the mindset that I had from a broadcast standpoint when I came on to Furman's campus for the 2012 baseball season. I started, of course, with 2011 football. I'm in my 7th year as the voice of the Paladins. So blessed to be here. And we had, looking at what was going on with baseball then, it was not much. It was almost nothing, as a matter of fact. 6 games on the radio, and that was it. So, I pushed to get games on the internet, and we started with just the conference games for the first 2 seasons. 3rd season, the parents are like, hey, why can't we hear the midweek games? And thanks to Gary Clark, athletic director at the time, he said, okay, we'll work it out where you can. So from that point on, we have done every single game, home and away, even with other teams providing video of their games. We still go on the road. And I say that because of this. We have become the standard bearer in the Southern Conference. No other school goes home and away and does every baseball game. That is thinking like a bigger program. That's doing what Clemson and South Carolina and the other major schools around the state and around the country do. And the coaches have noticed. The coaches appreciate it. They use it as a recruiting tool. The parents and family and friends and fans in general have appreciated it and picked up on it. And the baseball listenership continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. And we're always working and always looking for ways to make it bigger and make it better. As I said, we're working on the radio broadcast schedule with our flagship station, 1440 now. We'll be obviously using the campus FM as part of that for pretty much every broadcast, and just looking to continue to grow this thing. But it's really a unique situation inside the Southern Conference, and it is being used by our coaches as a recruiting tool. It's a minor recruiting tool. Don't take it for more than it is, and don't let me appear to be blowing it up as the thing that's making a difference in getting a big recruit on campus or not. That's not it at all. But what I'm saying is it has become now an accepted part and an expected part of this program, and it's pretty nice to work in a place where they allow you to be that standard bearer. And as long as they allow us to do so, this is what we're going to do. And we are looking forward to getting things started on the 16th. And what that does now, that gives us, like the bigger schools, full football, full basketball, full baseball, and then with what we do on campus with ESPN3 and the SoCon Digital Network, so much supplementation with all the other sports. Furman athletics is accessible now more so than it's ever been in the history of this school. And I don't think that is hyperbole in any way, shape, or form. How did I get off on this? I don't know. I just know that baseball's coming up on the 16th, and we're going to be there broadcasting it and ready to roll and have some fun. I want to take another quick break because when I come back, I want to spend a little bit of time on the basketball game, and I need to get something ready to go. I want you to hear Bob Ritchie's post-game comments on the radio after the broadcast. So I got to get that ready, and then we're going to have a little bit of fun with the Super Bowl and let you hear the story via the Philadelphia Eagles radio network, the story of their win in Super Bowl 52. All that and more as the Dan Scott Show continues right after this. Don't go away.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, finances, insurance? Then let
40.8 or 40
in Travelers Rest help you simplify and get to a better state. Because with Steve handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time for everything else.
Pepsi post game. Powell has fallen overtime 100-92 here at McAllister Fieldhouse at the Citadel. Dan Scott and Tom Van Hoyt. Bob Ritchie has joined us courtside here.
And get to a better state with State Farm.
Let me tell you something, Cowboy. This rookie can really bring the heat.
He's smoky and spicy with a Chipotle style all his own.
It's a new Montgomery Inn Chipotle barbecue sauce. Make it a part of your home team.
Available now at your neighborhood grocer or online at CincyFavorites.com.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
All right, it's 10:23, and we're back here on the show. I'm Dan Scott. Good to have you with us. Hey, did you guys have fun listening and watching the interview we did with Billy Hall at Hall's Chop House on Friday morning when we did the show live from there? Had Taylor Harbin on to talk a little bit of baseball, and then got a chance to spend about 20 minutes on air with Billy. Found out that he's got a football background in the NFL and the college game. Before coming to work in the family restaurant business. And, man, what an empire they have built in Charleston and now bringing it here to the Greenville area. Hall's is almost 2 years old in downtown Greenville. Man, it is fantastic. Angela and I went there for dinner Friday night, and colossal is the only way to describe it. We had such a fantastic time. Billy and his staff were phenomenal. Just the nicest people, and they go above and beyond to make the experience something that you won't forget when you visit there. Hall's Chop House, the Greenville Steakhouse in downtown Greenville. Open 7 nights a week for dinner, live music every night, and they're also open for brunch on Sundays. Thank them for what they do, and we will tell you more about them, obviously, on a daily basis. All right, we mentioned Furman's loss, just a very, very difficult loss to the Citadel on Saturday, blowing a 17-point lead with 8:58 to go and losing in overtime 100-92. When it was all said and done, Bob Ritchie came by and spent time with us on the radio post-game, and here's what the coach had to say.
Well, your young head coaching career, this has got to be maybe the toughest one so far. This was a tough one to take.
Yeah, but you got to give Citadel credit. They stayed in there and they didn't wilt. We were up 17 with 10 minutes to go. You got to win those, but you got to give those guys a lot of credit. I mean, they hit everything they made late, and some of that was on missed assignments by us for sure. Some of them with tough shots, and I thought that we just looked emotionally drained late, and I don't know. We got to be better. I got to be better. This is my responsibility, and we got to win games like this.
Did they do anything different, Coach, when they made that run when you were up by 17?
No, I mean they just started. They were running the same plays. I mean they hit a bunch of shots, and we were a second late on a lot. We played reactive, and we didn't play proactive defensively tonight, especially down the stretch. And one action we guard it, and they're trying to get gate action out in the left corner for Frierson. They don't get it. We guard it great, and then they throw it to a guy on the right wing that we're not guarding, and he bangs a three, and we fouled a 3-point shooter. We gave up a 3 on the inbounds play. It just wasn't going our way, and we got. Then you start worrying about offense, and you lose focus on defense, and it's a disaster, And I don't know. It's you got in situations like this, you got to give them a ton of credit.
The last 2 threes that they hit in regulation prior to the Johnson layup that tied it, both of those were contested shots. I mean, we had defenders right in their face, so at some point, like you said, you have to kind of tip your cap to them a little bit. And as they started to get hot, our offense, we got a little cold shooting the basketball.
Yeah, we did. I thought, they went to a kind of a packed-in zone, and they had run it a lot during the game. But for whatever reason, we just weren't aggressive, and we were trying to call some driving actions. We were trying to get the ball in the middle of the zone. We kept changing up calls, but we got very passive versus the zone, and then we weren't getting any stops, and so then they got to set up their defense, and it's just one of those things. You're on the road, you got to have some mental toughness to execute, and we just came up short.
Did the full court pressure, you think, affect you much? They kind of went to that after they were down by about 17.
Yeah, I mean, they pressed us a good bit early, and then they went to a harder, full court trap. And yeah, we had two turnovers at halftime. We finished with 10, and so we had 8 in the second half, which is way too many. But for the most part, I thought it was 3-point defense, and I thought it was just us not just sticking through the possession and guarding all their action all the way through, and just a tough night.
Well, you get a little bit of time to kind of flush this one from your system, learn what you can learn from it, and going back to Timmons for 3 straight, and it's going to be pretty daunting right there at the beginning. The next 2 games are Greensboro and Wofford next week. So just kind of talk about what the future is going to look like next week.
It's just game by game,
Yeah.
We'll go our same prep. We'll be prepared like we do for every game, and every opponent. It's more about us. It was about us tonight. I thought, when you have a lead like that, you got to close. So, we can play with any team in this league. We know that, but we just got to have more toughness late, and you can come up with all kind of stuff. None of it matters. And you could tell that we missed Andrew some tonight. You could definitely see that, especially versus the pressure to basically have a 4th guard out there. But still, you're up 17 with 10 minutes to go. You got to find ways to close that. So we'll get ready for Greensboro, and we'll get ready for Wofford. I believe in this group, and we'll hurt for today, and then we'll get back tomorrow and figure out what we got to do to respond.
All right, Bob. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Bob Ritchie after the game on Saturday down in Charleston. 100-92, Paladins fall in overtime after leading by 17 with 8:58 to go in the game. Just a tough, difficult loss to take. But as he said, hurt a little bit, turn around, get back to work, and this team has faced some adversity this year, and they found ways to bounce back from it. So let's see what they look like on Wednesday when a very good Greensboro team comes in. That's going to be a tough test, and we'll see if they can bounce back from that. One of the big things you heard him reference there at the end, playing without Andrew Brown. Brown was injured during the Mercer game, actually finished out the game, but was hurt, did not play Saturday, and there's some question as to what his availability is going to be in the immediate future moving forward. I don't know that they have said publicly what the injury is, so I'm not going to say so until I know that information is out there. But the concern is that he may miss multiple games. And if so, that obviously changes things in that rotation, in that dynamic a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that, keep you informed when we know anything where Andrew's concerned, and looking forward to Saturday or to Wednesday against Greensboro and seeing if they can get the ship righted and get things headed back in the right direction. You win that one, and then Wofford on Saturday is a game for 3rd place in the league, because you'd still have the same number of losses as long as Wofford takes care of business this week prior to that. So the game Saturday, you win Wednesday, the game Saturday would be one for a clear spot in 3rd place in the league, and you'd only be one game out of second if you can beat Greensboro. Lose to Greensboro, and things start to shape up a little bit differently. But Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, 6:30 airtime on the network, and it's, of course, a simulcast with ESPN3. And then don't forget on Saturday, it's a men's-women's doubleheader at Timmons, and both of those games not only will be on ESPN3, and the men's game, of course, on Fox Sports 1440, but both of those games will also be televised locally by Channel 62. And I'm fortunate enough to have the call with Bryant Lambert on both of those games. Women play Western Carolina, and the men follow that up at 4:30 against Wofford. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a big, big week for basketball here on Furman's campus. 10:32. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and let's spend some time talking about Super Bowl 52, among other things. This is the Dan Scott Show, and we'll return in just a moment.
Hey Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point offers a dining experience that will have you coming back for more time and time again. Everything is freshly made on site, including the different varieties of bread and all the baked goodies. And the menu, Atlanta Bread Company offers a wide variety from hot soups and chili to hot and cold sandwiches and paninis. Even breakfast selections topped off with your choice of piping hot coffees. Come see for yourself. You'll love it. The Atlanta Bread Company at Cherrydale Point, proud sponsors of the Furman Paladins and the Dan Scott Show.
Looking for a good lunch spot in the Travelers Rest area? The Cafe at Williams Hardware is your place. Williams Hardware has food for the whole family, from the famous Reuben to the barbecue chicken quesadilla and their daily lunch specials, which includes the award-winning BLT on pimento cheese with pepper jelly, served Tuesday to Thursday. Williams Hardware also serves breakfast on Saturdays from 8 to 11, perfect before Furman home game. And don't forget their gift shop, which offers items for anyone on your list. Go see your friends at the Cafe at Williams Hardware, 13 South Main Street in downtown TR. Full menu and operating hours at the Cafe at WilliamsHardware.com.
Say you've got a busted phone or tablet screen. Time to get a new device? Nope. Time to give it CPR. CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale can repair almost any phone or tablet screen on the market and usually can do it same day. In fact, if you have an iPhone, the fix usually takes less than an hour. CPO Cell Phone Repair also can fix computers and gaming systems, both screens and hard drives. And they sell refurbished devices and new accessories. Stop by and see the new owner, Janet Culver, today, and check them out on Facebook. That's CPR Cell Phone Repair at Cherrydale, 864-282-9097. Give it CPR today. All right, we are back and happy to have you with us here as the Dan Scott Show continues on this Monday from the beautiful campus of Furman University. I hope that everything is going well with you so far on this Monday. If not, we try not to mess it up. Or if it is, we try not to mess it up. If not, we hopefully can give you a little bit of a lift. And by the time it's all said and done, we all hope to learn something we did not know. And I always qualify that by saying it's easier for some of us than it is for others. So what did you think of the Super Bowl last night? I thought it was highly entertaining, pretty much from start to finish. I thought the offenses were wide open. I love the play calling by Doug Peterson. I love the fact that he was aggressive. He took chances. And even had they blown up in his face, I still love the fact that he was willing to roll the dice, that he was going to keep constant pressure on the Patriots. It wasn't going to over-respect what Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and everybody else represents in that organization. They were going to keep constant pressure on them and make them react. And by golly, they did it, and they did it in a big, big way. And you know me, I am a radio guy at heart. So with watching the TV broadcast last night, getting back in here this morning and going to one of our services that we have access to, and we have basically every highlight cut from the TV broadcast, from the Philly radio, and from New England radio. But I thought it would be pretty cool, kind of like what we did after every Furman football game thought it'd be pretty cool to let you hear the story of Super Bowl 52, a very condensed 3-minute version of it, through the radio calls of the Eagles radio network. Take a listen to this and enjoy Philadelphia's first Super Bowl championship in franchise history.
Foles under center. Smith in motion. On first down. Foles fakes. He's back. He steps up. He is going deep. And it is caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown.
Whoa, what a great catch by Alshon Jeffrey. A little play action, and after that big run, they immediately go up on top, and they get the big one to Alshon Jeffrey. He goes up over Eric Rowe, and he takes the football away.
He was about 9.5 yards deep. What a catch. First and 10 at the 21. Foles under center. He comes right back to Blunt. Blunt across the 20, the 50, the 10, the 40. The train is in the end zone. 21 yards.
Unbelievable blocking. Great play call. You can't execute it much better than this. The big guys, they get to a double team up front. They get to the second level. It's a great cut by LeGarrette Blount. He sticks that left foot into the ground. He goes back against the grain, and he hauls to the end zone.
Clement to his right. Now lines up behind Foles. Foles moves to the right. It goes directly to Clement. Clement reverses it, and the pass goes into the end zone.
To Nick
and
Foles.
It's a touchdown by Nick Foles.
Listen, a little razzle-dazzle by Doug Peterson.
Foles moved to his right. Ertz came around, took it from Clement, and then Ertz threw the pass into the end zone to Foles.
Little razzle-dazzle. I love this. Come on, Doug Peterson.
Shotgun. Foles. Second and 10. Foles back again. He's looking, he's pumping. He is going deep, and is it a touchdown? I'm awaiting the signal.
It is.
It is touchdown. It goes all the way down. A 22-yard touchdown to Clement. 4th and 1. Foles back. Foles fires. Foles completes it, and he's short of a first down. He got it to Zach Ertz. Does he have it?
Yeah.
Boy, I had to wait. They knocked him back, but they say he had forward progress and made it.
Oh, yeah. Move the change.
Whoa. Empty backfield. 4 receivers right. Back goes Foles. Fires. Slant. Touchdown! Zach Ertz. He caught it. He bobbled it. He never let it drop. And he finished with the football. Now the Eagles lead 38-33.
And they're going to go for 2.
They're going to go for 2. Brady with White to his right. Brady back again. He steps up. He's hit and falls forward. And he fumbles the football, and the Eagles have it. It is recovered by. It is unrecovered by Barnett. Barnett. Brady fumbles, and Barnett has the ball.
They finally hit Brady. They finally hit Tom Brady, and Barnett comes up with the football.
Oh, there is that turnover we prayed for. 9 seconds left. Eagles by 8. Brady lines them up. He's back again. He steps up. He's hit. He stumbles. He is throwing it deep for the end zone, and it is batted around and incomplete. And the game is over. The game is over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
There's going to be a parade on Broad Street. Hey, man, if this is a dream, don't wake me up. We're going to have a parade on Broad Street. Hey, grease up the poles. We're going to have a parade.
The Eagles have won the Super Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
41-33.
Now, that was fun. Again, being the radio guy at heart, the Philly fans, for the most part, are probably the only ones who got a chance to hear that. Maybe around the country today, you're getting some radio clips of plays or of the final call or something like that. But I thought that was pretty fun, and love hearing the reactions and the swings of emotion and everything else. If it's a dream, don't wake me up. It greased the polls. They were actually doing that prior to the game yesterday, and at least in one instance, it didn't work because they flashed to, or I think maybe Angela had actually pulled up something on Facebook, a live video on Facebook from downtown Philadelphia, and there was a guy. I mean, there was just thousands and thousands and thousands of people gathered, and they showed a picture of one guy who climbed a traffic signal, and he was standing on top of the traffic pole, and he was flapping his arms, like an eagle. And I don't know if he was already high enough to get there easy or not. My guess is that he probably was. That town is undoubtedly one giant hangover this morning. I don't think there's any question about that, but not that I condone it by any stretch, but you can pretty much understand it. The Eagles winning the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. A couple of thoughts about the game last night. The NFL has got to do something about its catch rule, and that's been a source of controversy for a number of years now. What is a catch? What isn't a catch? Completing the catch all the way through to the ground, and it took on the touchdown to Ertz, the tight end, that was the go-ahead score. Having to go review that, to me, just pointed out exactly how bad and how confusing the NFL's catch rule is. And I thought Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth expressed everybody's frustrations last night. I think it was Collinsworth who said he can't wait until that rule is changed. And Michaels, I think, echoed him by saying maybe at the end of the game. But he catches it. He takes 3 steps, breaks the plane in the end zone, and then hits the ground, and the ball pops up. And they have to go review that and then take as long as they did to review it when it was obviously a touchdown. The old catch rule, to me, I don't know why it was ever changed, but it was securing the ball 2 feet down and then turning up the field to make a quote-unquote football move, which I know is open to some subjection and perhaps one of the reasons they changed it to begin with. But in hindsight, the way the catch rule used to be is eons above what we've got now, and has been a controversy, as I said, in this league for a number of years. So hopefully that's going to be changed. The future of Nick Foles. I mean, this is an interesting scenario for a guy who is the toast of a town right now and will be a Philadelphia legend for not just the rest of his life, but long after he's dead and gone. He will be the guy that brought Philadelphia its first championship in the NFL era, in the Super Bowl era anyway. And he will go back. If he's still in Philadelphia next year, he's going to go back to being a backup because this is Carson Wentz's team. There's no doubt about it. Carson Wentz is the engine that runs this Philadelphia offense. And this is his team. He will be the starter next year. So it brings up the question, what happens to Nick Foles? Now, Foles has another year left on his contract, but there are teams out there that are kind of rebuilding. The Cardinals have been one that's been mentioned, and teams that need quarterback play. And it's highly likely that there are going to be teams knocking on Philadelphia's door looking to make a trade to bring Nick Foles into their franchise. It's all, you talk about a coming full circle for a guy who was at one time the starter in Philadelphia, got traded to the Rams. He was, by his own request, released by the Rams, considered giving up the sport of football. And they talked about it on the broadcast last night, went on a camping trip with his brother-in-law and kind of got his head straight and decided that the only guy that he would play for, this is going back to last season, the 2016 regular season, would be Andy Reid. So Andy Reid brought him into Kansas City, gave him a job as the backup to Alex Smith. This offseason, Philadelphia re-signed him to back up Carson Wentz. Well, lo and behold, in December, Carson Wentz tears his ACL and goes down, and Nick Foles is plugged into the starting lineup. Played well early in his first couple of games, did not play so well in his next couple, but once the playoffs hit, he was amazing. And last night, he was even more amazing. Played with just for that stage, under those circumstances, a ridiculous amount of calm and confidence, and led Philadelphia to that win. So his future is one of the big question marks already where this Philadelphia team is concerned for next year, or more importantly, just for him personally and individually. I would be shocked if he's back in Philadelphia as a backup next year. I think he'll probably be a starting quarterback for another team, but he is under contract with the Eagles for one more season. But this is Carson Wentz's team. Make no mistake about that. But what a story. What a fantastic story for him. And a similar story for Doug Peterson, who 10 years ago was coaching high school football. Can you imagine that? He was a former NFL quarterback, mostly a backup in his career. Was coaching high school football 9-10 years ago. And flash forward a decade, and he is the head coach of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. That's a pretty significant jump. And you know what? I like the fact that the first thing out of his mouth on the podium with the interview with Dan Patrick after the game was giving praise to his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I think he's got his priorities straight. The Brady and Belichick era, is it over? You may have been reading in the days and weeks leading up to Super Bowl 52 that for whatever reason there seems to be some friction developing between owner Robert Kraft, head coach Bill Belichick, and quarterback Tom Brady. These three guys have been together for, now this was their 8th Super Bowl together. Brady is 5-3 as a Super Bowl quarterback for the Patriots. And there's a lot of speculation that whatever that friction is may end up kind of breaking up. And look, Brady's 40 years old. He played at a extremely high level again yesterday, threw for over 500 yards, had a phenomenal game, but came up short on the scoreboard. How much longer can he play? How much longer does he want to play? I don't know. But the bigger speculation is that is Bill Belichick going to make a move before anybody does? Is he going to retire? Is he going to look for another coaching job? Can they keep this core group together for one more run? That remains to be seen, but that's a storyline to watch after this game as well. And then one that's got a South Carolina flavor to it, literally, both the state and the University of South Carolina. How about the matchup between Alshon Jeffrey and Stephon Gilmore? These guys were college roommates for the Gamecocks. And Alshon Jeffrey got off to a fantastic start in that game. Big catches, touchdown. Foles was looking to him early and often. And then the Patriots shifted Gilmore into man-to-man coverage on Jeffrey. And unless I missed something, Jeffrey was shut out for the rest of the game. So I thought that was a very intriguing dynamic that had something of a local or at least regional flavor to it. Watching these two former roommates that played their college football here in this state battling and going one-on-one, and the fact that Gilmore was able to step in and shut down Alshon Jeffrey pretty much completely. But give Foles credit. He found other receivers, other wideouts, used his tight end a lot. His tight end was the leading receiver for the team during the season anyway. And but it ended up being a very intriguing storyline that had a little bit of a local flavor to it, with Gilmore and Jeffrey battling head-to-head during the game. I thought, under the circumstances, that it was a very entertaining Super Bowl. And it was kind of entertaining start to finish. Last year, Patriots are down 28-3, come storming back, force overtime, and win it in the extra period. So there's a lot of drama there, first overtime game in Super Bowl history. But this one was one that, had the back-and-forth action from the opening kickoff. And we talked about Peterson's riverboat gambler mentality and being very aggressive in his play calling, maybe a little too aggressive early. Maybe went for two, when he did it in the first half and didn't get it. Maybe went for two a little too early. And you have no way of knowing this, obviously. But had he chosen to kick the extra point there, that late touchdown that New England scored to take a 33-32 lead that set up all of the dramatics that happened after that, had they kicked the extra point in the first half instead of going for two, remember they missed an extra point kick. So he decides to go for two on the next touchdown, doesn't get it. If he kicks it on the second one and is successful, well, that Patriots score only ties the game at 33. As it was, they missed the two-point conversion. They fall behind 33-32, so they score again to go up 38-33 and have to go for two again to try to get it to 7. And they missed that one as well. And, of course, you know what happened after that. They stripped Brady, recovered the fumble, kicked the field goal to go up by 8, and it all worked out. But going for two at that juncture in the first half, hindsight being what it is, you say he should have gone back and just kicked the extra point there and gone up by 7, because chances are he wasn't going to miss a second point after. But it remained consistent. The play calling philosophy for Doug Peterson remained consistent throughout the course of that game. So, if you're going to give him credit for the reverse pass on 4th and goal and going for it in that situation and pulling that out, the pass to Nick Foles, you also have to say, look, if he's going to do that, if that's his mindset, then you got to take the good with the bad. Fortunately for the Eagles, there was very little bad that happened yesterday. So they get their first Super Bowl first Super Bowl win in franchise history, and they win it by 8 points over the Patriots, and that wraps up the NFL season. It's a season that had more than its share of controversy, and it was all pretty much off the field. The not standing for the national anthem and everything that came along with that. This was a tough year for the NFL. Ratings dipped, and I think the message got through. You would think that if there were going to be some protests, that last night, that's the biggest stage of all the games in the NFL season. That's the one when most people are going to be watching, not just in this country, but around the world. So you'd think that if someone was going to try and send some kind of statement, make some kind of protest by kneeling for the anthem or otherwise, that would have been the stage to do it on. Thankfully, nobody did. We're stuck to the game of football, and maybe the NFL got the message from the American people because, again, ratings were down, advertising revenues were down. The NFL took a bit of a hit this year. So, whether or not they learned anything from it, only the 2018 regular season is going to tell us. I can tell you that we've pretty much come to the end of things here on this Monday edition of the program. We've had a good time talking about the Super Bowl. Wish we had better news on the Furman basketball game against the Citadel on Saturday, but Bob Ritchie's team will bounce back and have a chance to do so on Wednesday against Greensboro. So we'll be talking about that and continuing to bring you all the news and updates from around campus and beyond here on the show. We'll be back with you tomorrow, same time and same place. Until then, I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you and so long, everybody. We will see you on the show tomorrow.